You're listening to episode 92 of Financial Confidence here on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Listening to episode 92 of Financial Confidence here on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Hey, and thank you for joining us for Financial Confidence. I'm your host, Lynn Demons, and that's Demons, y'all. No demons here, DEMMONS. We thank you so much for joining us as we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do the things you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. Guys, we want to hear your money success story, so give us a call. Leave us a message at 470-236-8282. If that doesn't work for you, send us an email with your story to financialconfidence2020@gmail.com. You're listening to episode 92 of Financial Confidence here on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Hey, and thank you for joining us for Financial Confidence. I'm your host, Lynn Demons, and that's Demons, y'all. No demons here, DEMMONS. We thank you so much for joining us as we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do the things you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. Guys, we want to hear your money success story, so give us a call. Leave us a message at 470-236-8282. If that doesn't work for you, send us an email with your story to financialconfidence2020@gmail.com. Go get your pen and paper, guys, because we have a conversation that you don't want to miss. This is a courageous conversation today, and we have a special guest in the podcasting studio. But before we get to her, guys, I want to remind you of the guiding principle for this show. It is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. We also implore that you pray over your finances so that you can be a good steward and be able to support those causes that you're looking to support, whether that's homelessness, victims of domestic violence, it doesn't matter. You can help someone that's struggling if you're in the struggle yourself. So if you will, guys, take a moment and bow with us. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word, the eternal glory. In thy son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yes, guys, you don't want to miss this. I hope you have your pen and your paper or your recording devices, because we have a true conversation with you. We have in the podcasting studio with us today, attorney Sharon Baker from DeKalb County here in the great state of Georgia. Attorney Sharon Baker, how are you?
I'm fine, Lynn, and thank you for having me on your show.
Well, we are super excited to be here with you and to have this conversation with you today, guys. Attorney Baker is a probate court administrator, so she's really going to help us build generational wealth the right way, make sure we're taking care of business at the end of the day. So, Ms. Baker, so our audience can get to know a little bit more about you, I want to ask you about your relationship with money and finances growing up. What did that look like?
Great question, Lynn. I'm the oldest of 4 children, and my parents were small business owners. In fact, my father and his brother had a carpet cleaning and furniture cleaning business in Columbus, Georgia. And it's 4 of us children, and we grew up in that business working. So parents taught us early on about being responsible, being to work and to have good work habits. Not all the time we got paid in that business since it was a family business, but my just again, just teaching us about, being responsive and that you have to get up and go to work.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. That's one that pays throughout your life. So when you think about that, was that your first job working in the business, in the family business, or did you have a different first job?
Well, my different first paid job, I worked in fast food. I think most of us kind of started, that was our first real job with a check, and worked for a fast food restaurant there in Columbus, Georgia. And very fun times, but great to get a real paycheck at the end of the week.
Right. Okay. Exactly. And I can relate, and I'm sure others can relate, having that first job. I know many of my friends, our first job was McDonald's, right? We were just like the commercial. What's the guy's name? Was he Mikey, or I don't remember his name. The guy, Mikey's got a job. He was all proud of his little McDonald's
right.
Position back in the day. But when we talk about where you are today and what you do today, can you share a little bit about your background with our audience? And we'll move into some questions we have for you.
Okay. Well, I'm an attorney here in Georgia, and I've done a lot of different things in my legal career. I've been in private practice where I was a divorce attorney. I've been a special assistant attorney general as well as an assistant district attorney, both in 2 different jurisdictions in the state of Georgia, where I was representing the Office of Child Support Enforcement. I've worked in state government, and currently I am the probate court administrator for one of our metro Atlanta counties, and I've been in that position since May. Just as a little side note, my father passed away in the Friday before Father's Day in 2018. After he passed, I had like 6 or 7 additional relatives to pass between his death and January of 2019. So then I transitioned into this position in May. So I said, God was getting me prepared for this job, because we don't want to think about that part of our life, but you have to prepare the right way for that transition.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, we're having some true courageous and confessions and conversations over here today about everyday life and finances on financial confidence. So in your role, your current role where you're working in probate court, what are some of the misconceptions that you hear? Oftentimes, we'll go through, I'm scrolling through my Facebook page, and I'll see, unfortunately, someone has passed on, and then their families are not prepared to pay for funerals, their GoFundMe pages, and then there are other things that come along in this situation. So what has been your experience in dealing with some of the misconceptions that people have when they come in under these types of circumstances?
Great question, Lynn. And I understand that this is a topic people don't want to talk about. I mean, nobody even wants to think about it. Unfortunately, we live in the reality of every one of us has a date. We may not know when that date is going to come. I mean, we've just been talking about, Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other 7 passengers. They were not thinking about that was their last moment on earth. And so every day people are dealing with these issues, and either they are prepared with a last will and testament, or that person dies without a last will and testament. The thing is, people don't know what the law states in their state on how that situation is going to play out. And every day in probate court, we have people coming into the court, and I'll give you this one scenario, Lynn. Let's say mom passes away. You need the money in mom's bank account to help pay for her funeral. So you rush to the bank to say, okay, I need to get into mom's account. As soon as the bank learns that mom is deceased, that money becomes frozen. And the bank will tell that person, well, go to probate court and get an order, and then you can come back and we'll give you the money in mom's account. Sometimes it's just to get the person out of the bank. And so they come to probate court every day, come, step in, talk to the staff and say, this is what has happened. I need an order because that's what the bank told me. And the question we're asking that person, did mom die with a will or without a will? If the answer is mom died without a will, then it's a longer process, because now we have to first publish a notice in the legal newspaper for 4 weeks to determine who are the heirs of mom, who are the creditors. And there is a date that they have to submit their claim, stating either they're an heir or that they have a debt against mom's estate to the probate court. So that's 4 weeks. Then, so you're looking at least a 6, maybe even an 8-week process before there is a hearing for the court to determine who is the person to handle mom's estate and to, pay any creditors who are entitled to be paid, and then handling any residual and pass it to her heirs. That's not a process that's going to give you that order that you're asking for on day one. That's not going to happen quickly. Now, if mom had a will, then she stated who she named to take care of her affairs when she passed away. That person has to submit mom's original will. And then the question becomes, do they know where the original will is?
Well, it is.
Is it in a shoebox in mom's closet? Is it in a safe deposit box? Is it in a safe? Do people know the combination to the safe? Because we need the original will brought to probate court to determine, is this mom's final wishes? And if so, then we are going to make sure all the heirs are aware that you are presenting mom's will for probate, meaning to prove that this is her will, and then to follow through with the steps to give that person who mom named the authority to handle mom's affairs. That's a shorter process, but still there are steps involved. And it's not just you can come to the window and with tears in your eye that mom has passed away and the bank says, I need an order and I need mom's money to help pay for the funeral.
And I'm over here, I'm writing down notes as you're talking, just to make sure that I'm in order myself. But I wanted to ask a few questions that I asked my audience in advance. What types of things do you need to know? What would you like to know if you had an opportunity to speak to an attorney to get some information? Now, we do want to say, guys, that she is not your fiduciary. This is informational purposes only, all right? You need to make sure you check the laws in your state and consult with an attorney. With that being said, a couple of the questions that we wanted to ask is essentially to say, when they're thinking about that will, a lot of families may say, we don't have the finances to go and pay to have a will completed by an attorney. And some of them may go and use LegalZoom or other resources of that nature. What would be your suggestions around the will? Does it have to be that formal document that's produced by the lawyer? Can they go to LegalZoom? Can it be something that mama wrote on the sheet of paper as far as what she wanted? All of those things come into play. So what light can you shine for us?
Again, Lynn, great questions. I will harken back to early in my legal career. I had an elderly female to come and see me. She was in her 80s. She had 10 sheets of notebook paper where she wrote out everything she owned and who she wanted it to go to. Now, Georgia does not recognize that handwritten note that the lady wrote out. But and she was like, oh, baby, please don't laugh at me because I got all these sheets of paper. I'm like, ma'am, you're probably one of the smartest clients I've had, because she actually thought about what she has, who she wants to leave it to. It's not about how much it cost. It was her stuff. So I would say step one would be sit down and write out all the things that you have and who do you want to leave it to. And I would say then, look for some legal resources. In some of the probate courts, including the one that I work in, we have a partnership with some lawyers who will come in and meet with individuals for free if they meet an income requirement. Now, again, they are helping someone who probably can't afford to pay high legal fees, but they can call to the office, get an appointment with the lawyers, because the staff at these courts cannot be your lawyers. We can't give you specific legal advice for your situation, but because the court has to stay neutral. But we do partner with some lawyers in our county, and they will come in and meet with individuals. They set up an appointment, and they will actually help and get your will done for you for free. You can also contact other legal associations in your state. In Georgia, we have the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. You have Gate City Bar. You have the Atlanta Bar Association. You have the DeKalb Lawyers Association. You have the DeKalb Bar Association. You have Georgia Legal Aid, Georgia Legal Services. Even the State Bar of Georgia, where all lawyers are licensed. If a person were to go to their website and click on the button that says for the public, there is free information, as well as attorneys who will volunteer to do things for free. We call it pro bono. So you can find the resources. I said, don't just trust printing off a form on the internet, because one of the 3 little things I want people to realize on that, if you're doing it yourself, you must have 2 people who are disinterested to witness you signing your will. Okay? You can't leave your car to your son and your son is one of your witnesses. That's not going to work. The witness has to be disinterested. Now, let's say you did have your car and you left it to your son and he's one of your witnesses. The son has to determine, am I going to be one of the witnesses or am I going to get the car? Can't do both. So, and you need 2 witnesses. So if you only have your son and another person, and your son says, I want the car and I don't want to be the witness, your will may be declared invalid because now you don't have 2 witnesses. You got to follow me?
Wow.
So you may have more than 2 people to sign as a witness, but you want them to sign in you're signing and they're seeing you sign your will. But you can take that document, say, to a notary. You could go to your bank. Sometimes they will notarize documents for you. The courthouse has a notary office where a notary will notarize and witness your signature and different things. But make sure you understand the law in your state. Yeah. So, and the other thing that I would caution people, because if you do your own will, and let's say I name someone as my executor, the person I want to carry out the instructions I have in my will, do you want that person to be bonded? Meaning, do they need to get an insurance policy for, if my estate is $500,000 and I'm leaving my brother as my executor, does my brother have to get bonded? Meaning go out and get a bond from an insurance company for that $500 of my estate, which means he can't mismanage my funds and use it for himself and not carry out the wishes that I have in my will. So I want that person to be bonded. So if he should happen to mismanage it, the bonding company will replace the money and the bonding company will go after my brother for mismanaging those funds, okay? But my heirs, who I intended the money to go to, will get the proceeds. And do you want my brother to report to the probate court on a yearly basis of what is he doing managing my estate? Sometimes when we do a will, we will not have that person to be bonded and not have that person to submit reports to the court on how they're handling the affairs. So there's no oversight of that person. And yes, I love my brother. I hope that he would do the right things. But what if in life he goes through a financial situation where he's looking for funds to take care of his own personal affairs? And he says, oh, I have this pot of money that Sharon left. I don't have to report what I'm doing. I don't have to get bonded. So I may write myself a check for some of her money. There's no oversight of that. So I would caution people, have some protections if you're writing a will and naming a person, bonding and or reporting to the probate court on a yearly basis of what's going on, because those heirs want to know, okay, you paid out some of the bills, This is what's left over. When are we going to get our residual? And somebody is watching and kind of looking over that person's shoulder to make sure that they're doing the right thing. If that person does not have a will, the court has to appoint someone to be the administrator over that estate. Since you didn't name someone, the court now has to name someone. Sometimes it's a family member who's asking to be that person. They have to get bonded because we're going to make them get a bond and have to report to the court. But if they can't qualify to get bonding because maybe they have some credit issues or criminal issues in their background, the courts have what I call a county administrator. Those are probably attorneys on their list that can qualify and have been appointed on previous cases to come in and be the administrator over that person's affairs, to handle their financial affairs and the distribution of what's left over to their heirs.
Wow, that's a lot of great information that you shared with us. So I wanted to backtrack to one thing that you did say, where we were talking about the probate process, where if a person doesn't have a will, typically how long is that overall process? Because we've heard it's a year traditionally. Is that the norm, or I'm sure it probably varies depending upon the case?
It can vary. Now, are you saying if they don't have a will?
Right, if they do not.
Okay, so remember I said we have to post the notice in the legal newspaper for 4 weeks. That's kind of step one. And notifying, let's say John Doe died without a will. His sister comes in and says, my brother died without a will. He left, a house and property, and I want to be the administrator over my brother's estate. He did not have a will. So they're filling out the petition to name themselves as the administrator. That document asks them, who are all of the heirs of your brother? Do they have children? Do they have a spouse? Other siblings, parents that are still alive? Or did someone already predeceased him, but they left children? So the grandkids could take their parents' part. So you're filling out all that information. We're filing that notice in the newspaper for 4 weeks. So nothing's going to happen for 4 weeks while that newspaper notice is running. And depending upon who is responding by that deadline, are they agreeing that this person who's asking to be the administrator can serve? Or do they know that that's the last person my brother would want to be in charge of their affairs? They may sound good, but no, we don't want auntie doing that. So they may file an objection to that person. If so, then there are hearings that are held. And again, it varies, but again, those are kind of the steps. If nobody is contesting the person who's asking to be the administrator, and can that person get bonded for the amount of that person's estate minus the house? So we don't look at the house in terms of the bonding amount, but their bank accounts, cars, other assets they may have. Then if nobody's objecting, the end of the 4 weeks pass, you don't have any new people have popped up, no new creditors have popped up, then, and nobody's objecting, then it's kind of a much easier process after then versus if there are challenges or objections being filed. Or new heirs that are popping up that nobody knew about. And now there is a hearing to determine, are you this person's child or an heir, and them having to present evidence to show that, yes, I am an heir.
Awesome, awesome. So Sharon, I know, Attorney Baker, I know you have put these things in a book somewhere, because there are tons of people out here who need this information. You want to talk to us about your book series, and don't forget, please share your Denzel and Sharon story.
Okay, Lynn. I wrote, this is a 3-part book series, and it's about a couple called Denzel and Sharon. I did not say their last name was Washington. You can assume whatever you want to assume, but it's Denzel and Sharon, and they're trying to create their perfect life. So they're getting married, they go through all the things married couples go through. How do they handle their finances, buying a house? Then they have children. Now in this story, Denzel was married before, and has a special needs child with his first wife. And then Sharon and Denzel get married, and they have 3 children in their family. Both Sharon and Denzel have sisters and brothers and parents. So because as I said earlier, my legal career kind of spanned a lot of different things, the story and people in those characters are going through some of those life issues. And each book has a workbook attached with it. So while you're laughing about Sharon and Denzel and their situations, the workbook allows you to take notes. And now, oh, I have the same situation as Sharon and Denzel have, or my sister does, or my brother does, or my cousin, or my friend. And now they can see, I didn't know that's what the law says in Georgia. So they can take notes, and then now they can go and get legal advice to get their affairs in order. You know, and the book is on Amazon. The first one is called We Can Do That. Denzel and Sharon Create Their Perfect Life. And then the second book is They Can Do That. Denzel and Sharon Protect Their Perfect Life, because now I'm talking about the issues with their siblings. Talk about common law marriage, talk about their parents. Do they need guardianships, conservatorships? I'm talking about Denzel and Sharon's son gets his girlfriend pregnant and he's still in high school. So now child support becomes an issue to be discussed. Grandparents' visitation. All those different chapters are talking about different things, including what if someone died with a will and without a will. All of those issues are explored in the Sharon and Denzel story. And I will say I enjoyed writing the book, especially when Denzel looks into Sharon's eyes and tells her that he loves her. And Sharon responds, oh, I'm so happy, Denzel, that we're married. You know, so I have a lot of fun with, but the issues, because they will learn better. My experience has shown with a story versus me lecturing. This is what the law says in Georgia, thou shalt do A, B, C, and D. But when you have a story format, they will laugh at the story, but then it hits home because they can relate to the story. And then the workbook that's attached to each book gives them the place to write and take down notes. So when they now want to go and get legal advice, or they need insurance, or they need financial planning, or whatever it is that they're now having to address, child support issues, visitation for parents, grandparents, all of these different issues that pop up that people had no clue about what's going on with the law in their state, they can now go and ask them more detailed questions and get some specific answers for their personal situation and get some help and get those issues addressed on the front end, as opposed to something happens and then you find out what the law says and you're like, I didn't know that. Well, just because you didn't know doesn't mean that that's not the case.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this has been amazing, Attorney Baker. I am so happy that you've come on to share with the audience today. And guys, we can do that. Yes,
Yes.
Go check it out on Amazon, because we need to be like Denzel and Sharon and make sure that we have our life all the way together. Go check it out on Amazon. So, Attorney Baker, how can the audience find you? Because I'm sure that there's more questions and others that would like to connect with you. Go out and buy the book, the workbook, maybe even get the entire series. So how do they connect with you? How do they find you?
Well, I have a website called powerofonedecision.com. They can email me at Sharon at powerofone, that's the number 1, of powerofonedecision.com, or email me at attorneysharonbaker@gmail.com. And the books I have, I'm finishing up the 3rd book of the Denzel Sharon story. I mean, it may keep going as different things pop up, but right now, book 3 is in the works. Book 1 and 2 is out on Amazon. And then I also have a clarity book and a clarity journal that's out on Amazon. So once you find the Denzel and Sharon, if you type that into the Amazon search, it'll pop up. And then click on my name, it'll take you to the author's page and you can see all of my books that are out there.
Awesome,
If people
awesome.
have organizations or groups and they would love to get information, the court is always doing things in the community by sharing the information. The judge is always speaking to events and at centers and groups and what have you. And even I've done some workshops myself, and even at my church, because I would rather people know on the front end what the situation is versus the back end, man. And the sad part is when they don't take action and something happens, and then they find out and they are, it's like deer caught in the headlight. Oh my God, what do I do? So again, there is legal help for you if you cannot afford an attorney. Information is out there. Please get information on the front end so you can take care of your affairs going forward.
Yes, I love that, guys. Don't be like the deer caught in the headlights. Attorney Sharon Baker has given us the information. Go out and get her books. Go get the workbooks, guys. You have a plan of action. All you need to do is do it. Make sure that you check her out, guys. Don't forget her website, powerofonedecision.com. I like that because your life is dependent upon the decisions that you make. If you haven't made the right decisions, that's okay. Start making the right decision today. We appreciate you for joining us here at Financial Confidence, where we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. We thank you for joining us here at WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. And if this broadcast has been invaluable for you or any of our broadcasts, please go over to WYTV7.org and leave a donation so we can continue to do what we do, guys. That's to build the kingdom. We thank you so much for joining us here at Financial Confidence. I'm Lynn Demmons. That's Demmons. No demons here, y'all. Demmons. We'll see you again. And thank you so much, Attorney Sharon Baker. This has been one of the best. All right?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We appreciate you. All right, guys. You have a good one, and we'll see you next time.